Namaste. Welcome to the Force Niyama podcast, where we explore the teachings of Yogacharya BKS Iyengar with his direct disciples. My name is Katerina, and in this episode, I'm speaking with Nivedita Joshi, an ardent disciple of Yogacharya BKS Iyengar and a highly regarded yoga teacher from Delhi. Nivedita's journey in yoga is an example of how the scientific Iyengar's method, coupled with earnest and sincere practice, could bring about remarkable results. In her teens, Nivedita was stricken by slip disc cervical spondylosis. No doctor in India could cure her or even diagnose her correctly, and with each year her state was worsening. She lost the ability to move her hands and legs, and by the time she was 26, after 12 years of struggling with the condition, she was completely bedridden. She lost all hope in life, as every effort to cure her met with failure, till destiny led her to BKS Iyengar and his Yoga Institute in Pune. In 1996, she joined Guruji's medical classes, which were very demanding but highly effective for her, and quite soon her non-functional body started coming back to life. Initially, she arrived to the institute in a wheelchair for a month, but stayed there for 1 year, eventually walking out unaided. This transformative experience nurtured her commitment to the practice and her devotion to BKS Iyengar's teachings. With the support of her guru, Nivedita opened the first Iyengar Yoga Center in Delhi, Iyengar Yogakshema. I had the privilege of interviewing Nivedita there, and I was truly mesmerized by serene and tranquil atmosphere of the place. Nivedita is also a microbiologist, a poet, and a mother of twins. Her father, Dr. Nivedita Joshi, is a well-known Indian political leader and a former member of India's parliament. In this interview, Nivedita reflects on her remarkable experience of recovery and healing through the Iyengar's method. She shares her take on what makes Guruji's approach to mind-body work so effectively for health. She also recounts some episodes from her 22 years of close association with Guruji, and offers some guidance to the younger generation of students and teachers. In the description of the episode, you could find more information about Nivedita Joshi and her center in Delhi, as well as the translation of some Sanskrit words mentioned in the interview. Now, let me welcome Nivedita Joshi.
I thought, and I still believe, that I did my, share good. He dreamed of having a beautiful center in Delhi as an Iyengar Yoga center in the capital, because he used to feel that everywhere in the world there is a center, not in the capital of his own country. Mm-hmm. He had given this opportunity to many senior students. Fortunately or unfortunately, it was my fortune to have this, blessing from Guruji. So when he realized that I am from Delhi and from a traditional family, who is a family who has a lot of knowledge and a good command on heritage, then he said, you will start the center in Delhi, for which my parents flew from Delhi to say no, because my father was a member of parliament from Allahabad, where I born and brought up, and there every single person were knowing us, and he never liked Delhi, and neither I. And he said, sir, there we have the entire paraphernalia. I have served that constituency for 35 long years, and she doesn't have that much of strength. I didn't have that much of strength to have this. And he said, no, Dr. Joshi, this is what I've decided. This is my 40-year-old dream, and this girl is going to fulfill. So in old traditional way, you don't deny anything what your guru demands. So my father said, okay, if you say so, we will definitely support her, but you have to remember that she has a very vulnerable health. Mm-hmm. So every 3 months I will come and work here for this center, go back with again broken body, and he will work again on me, and then again I will come back like this, I did this. So when he came and entered in this center, his first sentence was, oh my God, I knew that you were doing very hard work. I didn't know that you had done such a marvelous job. So he I was very satisfied because, every pore of his being was so happy and so much blessing was coming from him that I think I did a good job, because for me in my life, if I'm not utilizing his energy the way he wanted me, is a crime. Because when he taught me, I was absolutely bedridden and there was no hope to be all right without surgery. And the amount of hard work the Guru and Shishya did with each other was something to be seen, to believe. He will go on teaching me and I'll go on practicing with so much of pain and ache and no understanding, just a faith. And simultaneously I was studying to understand what is happening. So that was marvelous, not easy, but marvelous experience for me. So when he said that in public of a crowd of 1,200 people, I felt very satisfied and very blessed, because if my little hard work has given him so much of joy, and his dream which was not fulfilled for 40 long years, and I was able to do that, that's all I can do for him, nothing else. I mean, he has given me a new life. So this is a center which is blessed by him, his dream, his vision, which I expressed in my own artistic and scientific ways. But absolutely, that's why I gave the director's chair to him and his footwear. I had never sat there. When he used to come, he used to sit. Otherwise, all the time
And the shoes are his.
Yeah. So in our customs, you give him the highest seat and you become his servant. So I'm his servant in Delhi to serve the people in whichever way I can.
Wow. No, I was mesmerized with the artistic work. With the sensibility.
I put my life into that. It's a real inner reflection of my being. Whatever I thought about yoga, and the way I felt about yoga, that the moment you should get into the center, it should be very quiet, peaceful, and the people should walk in with that peace, that, oh, this is the peace which I'm searching for. So this is an exact reflection of my inner being. And well, it was already had resonated with Guruji, so that's why he chose me as one of the few students to come and work here. This is the most difficult terrain in the world. Delhi is not an easy place to do. You see, Guruji's centers were in Mumbai since ages, but not in Delhi. So, and I'm not from Delhi. So it was really difficult for me to understand the pulse and then make my principles alive and Guruji's principles alive, which are very, very strong. But I think it is his blessings and my parents' blessings that it fructifies into a very peaceful structure, which has a lot of soul. And then Guruji for 10 long years came every year, stayed here for 10 days every year, taught my students, taught me, gave the lecture presentation, gave his interviews. So for me, this is worth going through so much of struggle and fight to build this up. It's worth it, because he enjoyed it thoroughly. He blessed me thoroughly. He had so much of good vision about me and this work. So I think I'm blessed. I'm really blessed. When I was suffering with the pain and suffering, I used to think, why me? With no accident, nothing, and you are bedridden one fine day. But when I look back and I see personally that God had a big, big project for me in the future, and that was pushing me through a lot of suffering, then feeling the pains of others, and then going through this line, because I'm a born scientist. I would have never done yoga ever in my life. This would have never attracted me the way it had attracted me after my injuries. But the moment I joined him, I met him, I realized, oh, he's the most authentic scientist I've ever met in my life. Not being a real scientist, but he was the most authentic scientist. He knew about the Sukshma Sharira so much, the microcosmos so much, that no doctor can do that. He diagnosed me by just looking at my skin in my neck and saying, you have slip disc of this side, and this much. And I was like, wow. For ages I was searching for what is my health issue, and there was no MRI in India, so I didn't know that. It was just a chance that India got MRI in 1994, 95, and I met Guruji in 96. But he didn't read my MRI. He just saw my skin, and that was, mesmerizing. And that's the moment when I surrendered myself to his feet of knowledge. Otherwise, person like me would have never surrendered, because I had such bad experiences with doctors. They had so much of experiments on me. And here is a man who comes and says, no medicine, no artificial equipments, it's just your body and mind and my body and mind. That was fabulous. So that was the first thing which made me to say, okay, now I'm going to proceed and do exactly what my guru says. But then the journey was very beautiful, because he was continuously guiding me, teaching me, guiding me, teaching me. So my day used to start at 8 in the morning, will end at 8 in the night. And when he will start his own way of teaching and when it will end, only he knew. I had to just follow. So there were days when I will get only half an hour to go back and eat something and come back. There were days when, morning till night, it was just continuous process. And thank God I was open and ready to learn every single point which he was giving. And that made me what I am. And that made me courageous teacher to now treat the similar kind of dilapidated patients the way I was with Guruji. And so many spinal surgeries which are failed, I'm treating them. It's because of him. Definitely because of him. He gave me so much of knowledge and courage. Of course, I've worked very hard to study and be with him, leaving everything aside, till the time he said. But it was wonderful experience to be with him and learn like a Guru Shishya Parampara. I am from a very traditional family, so it was very easy to adapt. Having said that, it was my dream also to study with some very great teacher, and I think that was the time I was ready and God was sending all the information through Guruji. And till his last breath, he said to me, Nivedita, I will support you till my last breath. You have given me so much of joy, and he did that. So it was a very beautiful relationship, like a father, daughter, grandfather, granddaughter. I don't know, but very deep connection, and I could never say no to him for anything what he said.
So what do you think he has seen in you when, first of all, he agreed to take you right away to his medical class, and then after some time make you the one responsible for setting up a center in Delhi?
Well, he said to my physiotherapist, who was the person who brought me to Guruji, Dr. Lalita Karni, she is still there. She has treated Prashant ji and Gita ji and everyone. Once he said to Dr. Lalita Karni, that I had never seen such painful eyes in my life. This girl came to me with so much of pain in her eyes and so much of honesty. So these were the two things which made him to say, no, I am going to take you. I never went to study with him. I went to thank him. I never went to study with him. I went to thank him because I didn't have guts to study with him. I had heard that he hits you hard and he says anything what he wants, and mentally I was not ready because physically I was suffering hell of a lot. And in my own life, my parents were very soft and very, kind. So for me, this was like, no. But interestingly, I went to his student, who was a doctor, medical professional, known to my father through politics. But in 6 months' time, I could see that he is not honest. And there I met Dr. Lalita Karni, and she said, you're the right student for Guruji. I can see how disciplined you are, because I belong to that kind of a family. We are known in the country for that, for keeping the words and having the discipline, that honesty and that intellect. So he said, no, you have to meet Guruji. I said, I would love to thank him. And I invited him that, sir, you have to come to Delhi once to give a lecture, because how many people are suffering and just losing their hope. So he looked at me and said, and you will organize that? I said, of course. He said, no way. I said, why not, sir? He said, you don't have that confidence in your eyes. Your eyes are full of pain and, kind of a thing that finished. Until unless you have conviction, you can't do anything. Pandu, come here. Okay, here comes Pandu. From tomorrow, this girl is getting classes from us, and she will be admitted in medical class. Oh. And I was like mesmerized. That person comes and diagnoses me and then said tomorrow. And there was a waiting list for 1.5 years to get into the medical class, knowing nothing about me. Who am I, that my father was a big shot? Nothing. So from that place to this place, my promotion was like, shh. And he has diagnosed me so profoundly that I was 100% sure. I called my father and I said, I'm doing this. He said, I'm more than happy. I wanted this. But understand one thing. If you will now leave him, he will never take you back. I know this man. You have to decide. I said, I've already decided. This decision has been taken by him because I'm impressed with his knowledge. And that's how my journey began with Mr. Iyengar. And then the next class was medical class. So hard that first when Pandu told me that you are going to get 2 medical classes in a week, I thought to myself, oh my God, how much time I will take to recover. My entire mission was recover and get back. That was not interesting for me. And after 2 classes, I thought that rod roller has rolled my body, completely finished. Pain, only pain. Pain of moving the body, which was completely caged on a bed for 12 long years. So it was like, oh wow, body is moving. It was too much of pain. Then 12th day, Guruji made me to do full arm balance, which gave my confidence back, which I have lost for 12 years. Because I didn't use my limbs, especially arms. I couldn't even write. And there I saw a very heavy body is standing on the palms. That means I can survive back again. So these were the things, few asanas, which really changed my entire outlook about my journey back, because I had already assumed that I'm finished. And here comes a man who says, no, we're going to, go back again to the class 1. So that was really, really interesting. Then after 1 month, I was so much in pain, and I was unable to understand anything. He will say, turn, I will turn. He will come and turn me for parvrit, I will turn. My body was not working.
So he was turning.
He was turning. He was doing everything and I'm moving. One day Trikonasana, other day Trikonasana. I'm saying, what is this? I have no idea what is happening. You don't remember, you get a good slap. Boof. So I decided to study first and foremost because I had no idea what this language is.
Like the name of the asanas?
Nothing.
Anything.
No, and nobody has time to explain you. Some foreigners were like Stephanie Quick and all were helping in the class. So I became a very good subject for everyone. And that's it. And no guts to ask Guruji, what is this, why this? Do it. And you do it. So I went to the library and I asked him, I said, how do I start my study? Because I am blank. Start reading books. I said, which book? He said, Tree of Yoga. So I started my journey of Tree of Yoga. Okay. And then I started studying there. So he could see that, this girl comes has no understanding but works very hard, because I was unable to even sit for 5 minutes. But I will make sure that I sit in the library and study, because I had no idea what is happening. And he will ask me, not from every patient, he will ask me every day some questions, which he taught me last time. I said, no, nobody is getting these kind of questions, but I'm getting these kind of questions. He could see that I was a very bright scientist. I knew scientifically everything about my body. Do you understand? And that was very interesting for him.
Yes.
That here is a patient, when I say, okay, turn your kidneys this to this, that she tries to do that. I knew where the kidneys are and what he is trying to say. Okay, my body is not responding, but my mind is saying, okay, I know the kidneys are here. Okay, move the liver like this. Okay, Nivedita is moving that part of the body. So for him it was very interesting, because the rest of the clan was, move kidneys. Where are the kidneys? Move your right hand, left hand is going up. So I was like focused, bright, young child, He's ready to learn everything. He's ready to take all kind of shoutings and slaps. And because I had realized that he's not shouting at me, he's shouting at my parts and body and, dead parts where he's slapping me. Okay, move this area, move that area. I was shit scared with him, but I knew that this is not directly to me, but it is directed towards my issues, So that was very good thing God gave me. Otherwise people used to leave his classes, na? Oh, he's very strong, like me. People leave my classes. Oh, she's very strong. Bah. What do you want me to do? I mean, if you have this kind of a hand and you're asking me to bring it back, lift your hand. This will not work. I mean, my Guru never taught me like that, So anyhow, that was God's grace that I could see that, no. He's not shouting at me. This is a real cry for my pain. So that was very interesting, that no student was able to show that caliber which I could. I didn't realize that. I realized it very late. So it became very interesting for him. Number one. Number two, one fine day, I think after 2 months, some fight was happening outside, and we were sitting in the library and we were studying. I went to the medical class. He used to come a little late. And I believe that when I went to the medical class, he called his peon and said, what is happening? So that peon explained him that, there was some fight between the two drivers. And, Tata, people used to call him Tata. Tata, the lady who comes to you for the medical class, her security saved their life, otherwise there was a murder. I said, security? Who comes here to study with me with a security? Tata, you don't know? I said, no. Call the person. So it was...
He called you?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. No, he didn't call me. He came to the medical class and I'm like a small little pukey mouse looking here and there. He says, come here. I feel like, peeing in my pants. I said, yes, Guruji. Who are you? I said, sir, I'm Nivedita Joshi. That I know. Who are you? I said, sir, I'm Nivedita Joshi. Who's your father? I said, sir, Dr. M. Joshi. Why didn't you tell me? I said, you never asked me. I mean, I didn't come for the admission, But you should have told me. People like you are cheat. And there comes Nivedita Joshi's real being. I said, sir, only time will say whether I was cheat or not. I'm just reminding you, I have never come here to get the admission. I came here to thank you. You saw something, you gave me admission and I took it like a prasad. I never came to take any admission. You never asked who am I. My parents had never taught me to show my, weight. So, it's okay. Who am I? There's something which is larger than the life is my father, not me. Now you hear me, okay? What do I hear? From tomorrow onwards, you will reach here at 8 and you will leave what time I will say. And you will not go back. You will go back the date I decide and you will come back the date otherwise leave right now. People like you come from Delhi. He used to hate Delhi, I don't know. Then later he left Delhi. Come from Delhi, you don't tell me. You do nonsense. You go back and it will give me bad name. I just said that only time will say. Nivedita Joshi can only say you one thing, I'm not a cheat and I don't cheat people. For me you're like more than a god. But as you wished. And I don't know where this strength came because I was really scared of him. He looked at me, okay, move. And then he was like an eagle. Oh. So I will be there at 8 a.m. Guruji will be next to me and we are practicing together, constantly guiding me. Slapping me, constantly guiding. What a guide, what a coach. And that's how the journey became. I went to Pune for 1 month, came back after 1 year.
So after that situation, did something in the way he was guiding you change?
No, nothing. You become more cautious. That if I do this much, he will pluck. That you can't, you dare not to. So then it became his prestige. That if he loses his prestige, though it was not the case with us. We all knew his caliber. By the time we found out about him, we all knew that who he is in his field, but he didn't realize that. He said, no, you can mess it up with my entire career and I will not allow you. And who wanted him to leave me? I mean, I was surrendering myself to the T. That became a very nice connection. Then he realized that I'm already a very well-read person. So it was very easy for him to communicate with me for anything in Sanskrit, in English, in philosophy. And I have stayed in Pune. There are few percentage of the people who were that well-read at such a young age. That was the reason and very sincere. Anybody till date can vouch about my sincerity with him, with the center, with the way I studied. So he looked at my sincerity, my knowledge and the lineage I belong to. He realized that she is like a real diamond who is not going to go anywhere. I mean, we are known in the country for the words what we say and that's why I kept on calling you, sit down, I'm coming, sit down, I'm coming, because I had taken medicine and I wanted the fever to go down where I can sit and talk to you. So I didn't know these things. I am comprehending now and I comprehended very well when I started teaching because I realized, oh my God, how frustrating it must be for Guruji. Because if I feel frustrated with my students, I feel like they're all stupid. We were all stupid in front of him. We are still. So I could feel his pain because my father was exactly like him, genius in his field, studying, educating, and will get frustrated with ordinary students, but will continuously go on giving them knowledge and pushing them, promoting them. Guruji is the same. He'll get frustrated but will not leave. So I think my sincerity, my understanding of body, human body, and knowledge about the rest of the things, that means education, and the lineage I belong to, made him to get convinced that, and then I never left. He said the best part of this student is she never left. I came and I came and I came till the time he kicked me off, that you go and now start teaching. I was no. People come, like it happens with me, people come, they get all right, they don't even show your face. So as a scientist, I cannot present them as a case. I became the most prestigious case for Guruji in India and internationally. You see, that was the time my father was the head of the party, and then he was the minister of 4 different, departments. And here comes a girl from that family, becomes like your subject, supports you, and continues. Wow, how lovely it is. I mean, his hard work was fructifying in something where he could show to the people that, look, this is what yoga does. And now all the more I appreciate when, the students, they continue with me. Because becoming all right and saying bye-bye is the most easy thing. But what is your commitment towards the teacher, towards the subject, towards the patients? And it happened just like that. I didn't plan. I didn't want to be yoga teacher. I didn't want to be yoga teacher. I could see that this is a Herculean task. So it took me 11 years to say yes to Guruji. So I think I was one of the only person in the world who was refusing his proposal that you become teacher. I said, no, I will not. It's not my cup of tea. It's so hard. I don't know anything. Then he gave me different examples for years together that how intelligent you are, how much you know better than all. And I will say, no. My underconfidence will say, no, sir. So it took him time. He didn't leave his, will, zid. And I asked him for the time. I said, no, sir, it should come from my heart. Because I don't want to, disappoint you. Once I say yes, that means yes till my last breath. I will not do jokery with that. But if it doesn't come from my heart, it will not.
So what changed that you decided to commit to
there was a workshop of Guruji, Gitaji and Prashant. And it was very interesting when he was guiding me, as if he knew that I am born teacher. Well, I never thought like that, never felt. As if he knew that she is the right person to take the flag. As if he knew that if she will not, then no one will be in Delhi to start it. It's a task. I'm not joking. It was Guruji's blessing, but it is a task to do things in Delhi with that purity. There are now many teachers who have been taught by me, but they are not pure. So, not to change a word what he said, I did that, and I still move in that direction. Come what may. I will study and figure out why Guruji did that, this, that, blah, blah, but I will not change. Because I have understood that he is the greatest scientist I've ever met. And whatever he has done has some meaning. Maybe I have not understood. Maybe my perception is different, but he cannot go wrong. So I have to see and study and change things in my mind, but not because he said that and let me try this. No. So I think this was another aspect which made me and Guruji to be so closely associated, because he could see that I don't change. I don't change even the full stop what he says. So it was a great relief for him that here comes a student who respects my work, who understands my work and is not ready to change anything, come what may. I think that was another solace, because many of his students have changed so many things, given their name and,
So somebody who could follow his principles to the
T.
To the T.
So he was very confident that I will not cheat him. Guruji was cheated throughout his life by so many people. Every second person was cheating him and was that innocent and big giver. So then in different period of time, when I started growing, I will go and tell him that Guruji, this project, you will do this, and he'll say, okay, you handle this. I say, you're going to this country, it has to be like this. So, okay, this part you will handle, so that he's protected. So it became a very beautiful, relationship, and then the entire Iyengar family accepted me beautifully. So, what more do you want? And in that period of time, we met, me and Usha. When I'll get depressed or feel that I'm never going to be all right, Guruji will say, look at Usha. Marvelous. I admire her tremendously. Very, very nice, very nice. So she was not the only case. They were all dilapidated people that period of time who was at his feet because his knowledge was at his zenith. When we met Mr. Iyengar, he was, very powerful in his practice and he knew what he's doing is the real answer from his body. So his experiential knowledge is from his own body. You can't go wrong. Like now in few cases I can see this is from my own body. I can tell you that this is what it is and this is what it will be. So I can correlate with his things very well. It's not just that, I stayed with him for 22 and a half years. I worked with him. That's why, no. That is definitely is the biggest thing. But until and unless you have experienced yourself, the taste is different. And what he used to do very interesting, every day he will practice 3 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours, 6 hours and will write and read. So one day he was staying here in my center and it is he who taught me how to drink coffee. I never had tea or coffee before and he said, he predicted, you are going to travel abroad a lot. Start drinking coffee. So I said, sir, I love the smell but I can't. I was 30 in my 30s. This was another thing which resonated with the entire family very much, very pure. We were pure Brahmins, no, egg, no fish, no nothing, no tea, no coffee. So, the pure being according to Guruji, which has nothing from outside was. So he smiled, he said, no, I'm telling you, it's my prediction. So Gita, every day in the library, give her a coffee. I'm the most privileged person who will have a little coffee of Guruji's share. And beautiful, no problem. Anyhow, so he will predict that, you are going to travel a lot and you are vegetarian, you will have the same problem which I had, no food. So you better have coffee and tea so that if you are hungry and then you can, have tea or coffee. Then I traveled with him in many countries and by that time the whole world has changed. Now everywhere vegan is there and this and that. But when I started traveling and teaching, it was every time when I'll sip the coffee in the cold country, I'll say, thank you Guruji, because otherwise there was nothing. There are many days when you have coffee and bread or coffee, and there are countries like Budapest and all, the bread also had the oil of a beef, so but then he decided that I should go abroad and study there with some great teachers like Faikpariya and all. So I studied with him for 14 long years. Every year he will send me there. So my training was quite different training because he could see that I'm very structured and scientific. And Faik was very structured and scientific person. So he was a scientist. He will always tell Nivedita, you have to study with him now because you have the similar kind of mind. So he has a very good judgmental power to judge the person in the right perspective. He knew which person will require what from where. So the right combination he will provide and the person will grow. So he helped so many students to progress and grow. But I also think that some of the students didn't justify this act. They were not doing right things. But most of the students with Guruji were also ready to learn. So he was destined to be a master with few good students and bringing out this beautiful knowledge to the world.
Yeah.
He was destined because he will understand the student's psyche and will give him or her that kind of a knowledge and the person will progress. Which if you are destined only then you can do that. Otherwise it's not easy to find out a good student. Because once I said to Guruji, I said, sir, the kind of students I'm getting is very heartbreaking because they want to just move their body and then go. So he laughed. Oh really? You got frustrated in such a short period of time. Look, at the age of 80 I got you where I can trust and rely. So it's okay. So very correct.
That's a very great guidance.
Yes. So sometimes when I feel very frustrated that whom do I give this kind of an experience of mine, I always remember his sentence, at 80 I got you, so why do you bother?
So in your opinion, what makes Iyengar Yoga such a powerful tool for healing?
Look, Iyengar system is based on certain pillars. One of the pillar is precision and the other is alignment. These two things are very powerful in terms of natural sciences. In the nature, Guruji used to showcase this example that if you see a leaf and the leaf is getting one side a lot of sunlight, that side will be bigger than the other and then there will be disformity. In nature, if there is a good alignment and body has been aligned by the Almighty very well, it's bilateral symmetrical. So the moment you lose the precise alignment, you lose your health. You can give any kind of definition. If you are not aligned with the night and you are sleeping very late, you're bound to have health issues, something like this. So these are the two things which make Iyengar principle very, very important. The other thing is his own studies, like sequencing of the asanas. The way scientifically he has understood and explained is marvelous. It's like chemical components chart in chemistry. The first element is this, and why it is in the first and why the last. Guruji's work is like this. So for me as a scientist, I said, wow, I had once studied this chemical chart, and this is now another chart which is that scientific. So sequencing of the asanas, then timing. How many seconds, how many minutes, how many hours one has to practice, that makes the asanas or pranayam to fructify. Then improvisation, which made me mesmerize. I was unable to use even any of my limbs. No? I was in the wheelchair, but here comes improvisation of the asanas, innovations of the props, and you are doing everything and you feel, oh wow, my body is moving. And slowly you might do independently also. So these 6 pillars, they make this particular school of thought very special. And all what I have said to you came through his personal experiences. In one of his book, which is his last book, The Core of Yoga, there he says that, I was reading scriptures and there they have written something else. But my practice was so strong that I could see, no, what I am saying, what I am experiencing is different, but still I will proceed. That made his thing very authentic. That, practice, it is an experiential knowledge, yoga is an experiential knowledge, it's an experiential science. So that was fantastic. I think that makes the entire Iyengar system. Yoga is a yoga. Do, re, mi, la, sa, re, ga, ma is the same. But what makes a single school of thought is this 6 pillars of his understanding, and then deciphering the Patanjali Yoga Sutra in such an easy way where everybody can understand and correlate, makes his subject very special, makes his school of thought very special. And his discipline, which made majority of the students to go with a lot of ethics.
No, I'm sure that he didn't have a blueprint on how to work with you, with your specific case. So how has this experience been for you in, watching your teacher kind of doing an experiment of some sense, like improvisation in some sense? And
when I met so many doctors, best doctors in India, some of the best doctors in the world, to find out my solution, nobody had that much of authority. The way he had the authority on the body, human body, of himself and the others. So as if he has, dwelt in the bodies of so many people, whether female, male, child, whatever. So this was something which was very interesting for me as a scientist. And the other part was that Guruji was living the subject. He was drinking the subject, he was smelling the subject, he was inhaling the subject, he was personification of yoga. So if I will come and say, how are you today, Nivedita? And my sentences for years were like pain here, pain there, pain here, pain there, you will get angry. And so like 19 styles of Shirshasana he taught me. I don't know, 10 or 11 kinds of Sarvangasana he taught me, that something will work on her. That was amazing, he will be relentlessly working on one option, the other option, the third option, the fourth option, till the time the person is into that and says, now it will work. That made me feel that no one can be better than this. Oh my God, who is bothered about you so much? One day Bharadwajasana in this style, the other day Bharadwajasana. I know Bharadwajasana in so many ways. So when I treat my patient and I see nothing is working, and then suddenly I start looking back, I said, okay, let me try this. This used to give me this feeling. So first I will do, and then I said, okay, you do it. And it works. So there is no blueprint for anyone. In my training program, the other person who made me to become whatever I am is Prashant Iyengar. There was a time period when we were getting into the training program, teacher training program, and there was a medical class, and we were asked in the class that you should study the patient, write the notes, what the sequencing of the asanas are, and then study and understand why this is given to the person. So I was doing that, and I was very happy. How nice, na? You copy that and you can study. So it was a Tuesday medical class or Wednesday medical class. I'm doing it by coming a little early because you're assisting and you're writing. It's a lot of work. Prashantji is hanging, turny topsy in Shirshasana. He calls me, hey, come here. What are you doing? What can I say? This is the work we have been given. So I said, sir, this is the... Okay, very good. Then what? So I looked at him, then what? He said, okay. So Nivedita, he took someone's name. He said, that person also has a slip disc. You also has a slip disc. But his sequence is different from your sequence because you're different and he's different. How do you then study that? You are a scientist and you're trying to mug it up. So it was like, wow, he's right. I said, yes, sir, but then what next? Like an innocent student. He said, learn the principles. If your principles are clear in your head and you have learned the principle, then you will apply that. But what you're doing is cheating. I said, sir, I am not doing it. I mean, we have been asked to study like this as a preliminary study. Yes, it's okay. But I'm telling you, you see, this is divine intervention. He never said to anyone like this. And all my students who went to Guruji, they did this. Copy, come back and sell it. They didn't allow me. Thank God. Thank God. They forced me to study. Said, you have a good brain, study. Come back with the clarity of thought. Come back with this. And that was the best part which he and his family did with me. Not to allow to be mugging it up. He said, no, you can't. So that was something which I cherish and I thank them. And thank you, Prashantji, for pushing me so hard to say, no, you have to. Same when Guruji said, go back to Delhi, I was not interested to go back because I was still having pain. My pain took longest time to go out of my life. And it used to come back again. So he told me, Nivedita, you have to go. I said, why, sir? What is the problem? I'm so happy here. I mean, I don't want to go back. He said, Nivedita, Guruji is a very big banyan tree. If he is seeing that you have some spark and it should be under the sun directly, you should. Otherwise, you'll be always under the shadow and umbrella. You go. I was really at the verge of crying. I said, sir, why? I don't want to. I have no ambitions. People in Pune, and everybody had the ambition to get the teacher training and get the certificate and then open the center. I was the only stupidest person who said, no, I don't want that. I just want to study. Because I'm from the scholars family. I just want to say, my parents said, study. I said, I will study. And Guruji was getting frustrated. How much you will study? I said, sir, this is what gives me joy. He said, no. Go back. Go back and start teaching this. So there are some asanas, I still tell my students that I and my students, they learned together because I had so much of health issues. To stand independently on those asanas were very difficult for me. So I'll go back and cry to Guruji. I said, you have asked me to teach and now this pose is coming. I can't do it independently. No problem, we will achieve. Then 1 month I will do only one pose. So that's how he then helped me to learn and get out of that fear complex. And my body has too many injuries like Usha Devi. And
so he supported you
from every side to give me that confidence that I can. And that was very nice of him because in my class, my opening sentence in my class is that please feel that you can do everything. Iyengar system is to hold your hand to cross your boundaries. If I tell you that you can't do this, then I'm negating the entire idea because I was unable to do anything. My body has still so many injuries which are now protected by system that if you ask me to do independent those things like Usha and I, we will fall. We can't do it. We can do it and understand so well and teach others is because of the support system. So this support system is what gave me this. So I always tell my students that I will force you and push you to practice. But where your limitations are there, start using the support and then slowly we will come out of that. And that's what makes people's life very easy.
Yeah.
This is what it is.
That's such an amazing gift of Guruji. That's the props.
To the suffering humanity. Oh.
I want to ask you about what you already started sharing. In your experience of teaching, what have been the challenges that you have seen with your students where Iyengar Yoga has been effective in helping them to cope with their illnesses? Like if you could just bring some examples.
So, the first thing is that people have a lot of faith on me as a uh, yoga teacher, especially who's conducting remedial classes, because I've gone through it and I've come out of it. Number one. Number two, the tremendous knowledge which he imparted on me and my association with him 22 and a half years every single day. It's not a joke. No? You are studying with the sun. So I think these are the two things which makes people to feel very confident that, okay, if we are in her hand, we are safe. Three, I am blatantly honest. If I see that I can't help you, I will tell you, go to Pune. Don't waste time with me because I am unable to help you. Which is rare commodity in Delhi. And now in the world. I don't show off. I don't say anything which is beyond my capacity. I only talk about what I can do and what I see. Now, how I see and what I see is again a gift of God and Guruji. Once I remember, I had massive pain. I went back to Delhi and I had to go again for my MRI. I have 19 MRIs in my life. I've gone so much with pain and, secondary injury, third, tertiary injury. Don't ask me. So, I go and come back. So, they had this idea that there's a little shadow in my spine and they said we have to go a second intervention and investigation because it might be a tuberculosis. So, when I came back, or a little beginning of the cancer, we don't know because there's some kind of a shadow. When I came back to Pune, I was choked and my eyes were, filled with tears, and Guruji in the morning lying down in the outer this, green chair, and he said, "Oh, welcome, welcome. So you arrived." I said, "Yes, sir, I arrived," and I bowed down to his feet and said, "So how are you?" So I had this big MRI with a choked throat, and I said, "Sir, that is bad news, sir." I mean, they think that there is something. Nonsense! Who says that you have cancer and who have this, that nonsense? What MRI nonsense? So I said, how do you know that I don't have these things? How confidently you're saying? I study skin. Your skin is glowing like a very healthy child's skin. This person cannot have. That made me so much enthusiastic that when everything was clear, and he used to ask me, "How are you? Do you enjoy this?" Because he could see that I'm a very rigid person. If I don't like it, I'll pack and I'll go. And he was very careful to handle me so that his missions are accomplished. And he asked me, "So how are you feeling? Would you not like to teach?" I said, "Sir, I don't know whether I would like to teach or not, but I would love to study. How do you study the skin?" That's very interesting for me because I always had a very good eyes to see. The seniors used to tell Guruji that this is the only person in the class whose body doesn't work, but the way she observes and the way she brings the questions are marvelous. All the foreigners have the similar report to Guruji because Guruji used to take the report of every student. So I said, "Okay, do you really want to learn that?" I said, "Yes, sir." So he said, "Okay, then you have to be here for the longest period of time." I said, "Come what may." And then in the class when he used to teach that when you see the hair follicles in Uttanasana going upward, what kind of Uttanasana you're doing? The hair follicles of the leg are going downwards, what kind of Uttanasana you're doing? I was like, what is that? And that made me very special because it's Guru's grace that now quite a bit I can diagnose you like that. That's His grace. I don't take any credit to myself. It's God's grace and His grace. And I think as long as I'm honest, this will continue with me. The day I'm dishonest, it will go away. That's what I was telling you. This is one thing which made me to study a lot. And the other was this workshop. So Guruji, you will send me a message via Pandu. Ask her to send us 11,000 rupees of DD, those days demand draft. Okay? And I will not ask why. Only I will ask, okay, on which name? And then there will be a phone call. Yes, I received your demand draft. I want you to to attend this workshop. And I'm like, "Sir, I'm dying with sacroiliitis. I can't. It will be embarrassing for you, Half of my life has gone only fighting the pain until date. 3 years, one kind of a pain, 3 years, another kind. And I have to work and, because the body is so much injured. Yes, I know. You come so-and-so date. And you remain here for so-and-so. Okay. Holding my back, I'm going because I have planned something else so that I can attend medical classes, and I go there and what do? I do 2 medical classes, but the rest of the days I'm sitting in that workshop doing nothing but observing. For observation he used to charge me. so that the entire community will not say anything that how come she is there. And I miss it for that workshop because I'm that lower level practitioner. Just came in the Iyengar field, but he wanted me to study. He has this amazing idea like my mother about me. Amma was the most confident person about me, and then the Guruji. He had this amazing idea that I will learn a lot from this. What will give him this idea? Only he knows. I had a devotion that if my Guru says come, I will go. With no knowledge, with no capacity, with nothing. Sheer gratitude and openness to learn. I will go and I will sit down like a small little cat and observe. 80% of the thing will go doom, 20% I will observe and I'll say, oh, very good, I understood. Then he comes at the end and he explains everything, and that 80% also is in my head. I said, oh wow, I didn't know that, So he had this brilliant vision that she will understand this workshop. In this kind of workshop where 3 of them were teaching, I was invited. With no participation, but sitting with the Jawahar Bhangira and the team for the camera, back end, paid the entire workshop to see. Morning Guruji will teach, midday Geeta will come and elaborate, in the evening Prashant will come and elaborate everything. 10 days, and I was like, this is heaven. When we finished, I went and touched his feet. I said, I'm going back to Delhi, but what an experience. Yes, what was the experience? I said, it was like Ganga, Yamuna and Saraswati, Trimeni. 3 rivers were mixing and coming out. So what do you think? I said, sir, I will teach. He said, say it again. I said, sir, I will teach. If this is what teaching is, I'm game. Oh, you have given me so much of joy. Now all my blessings, till my last breath, I will support you. And he did that. Now that was the turning point in my life. I am nowhere close to them. And I will never be, because they are the masters. But I had that privilege to have that experience in my life, to have 3 masters to teach together with so much of confluence, mixing and going out and mixing and going out, and flawlessly. That's it. And I never participated in that. I was an observer. Behind the screen, backstage, back to the camera. So this was his vision about how to promote a child who is not interested to become a teacher but has a good knowledge, has a good interest and very sincere student. He thought that much. I am so grateful. Who will think so much about one particular student who is saying, no, I'm not interested. But he made my journey very challenging but very soft, in the sense if he was not there, it was impossible. It was impossible to become a teacher. India didn't have teacher training program, and I am a kind of a person who will not go for the teacher training program the way they are doing it now. I will not. There's no structure. And I was such a structured student that I had said to Guruji, I said, this is impossible for me to imbibe this way. I need a very structured training because I'm a scientist. Study here a little bit, study here, there, then you assist them, and you become teacher. How? Where? How? I can't. So he made me to study with the seniors in such a structured way and understand the entire system. I can't thank him enough. He knew what I am looking at.
So
that's it.
Teaching students and then teaching junior teachers.
Yes.
Working so closely with Guruji, Gitaji and Prashantji. What makes for a good teacher, in your opinion?
Compassion. Constant quest to learn more and more and more, and practice. Quest is very important for a teacher. My biggest frustration with my students is there is no quest. They all need answers like this. My Guru never gave me. He made me to study, and I was ready to study. I can make them to study, but are they ready to study? Everything is so easily available on Google and this and that you don't want to go for the higher studies, and that's okay. So that's the saddest part, but that's what life is. World is changing. I'm unable to change. So this fight will always be like this. What can you do? And I don't want to change, because I know that the polar truth is the polar truth. Come what may, let the time should change, but the knowledge and the light of knowledge will remain the same. You can't make it faster and slower. It is a process. Nowadays, nobody is interested in deeper knowledge. That's my experiences. I may be wrong. People are here to learn yoga to get a good health. How, they don't know. But you make me good. You make me flexible. I can't make anyone anything. You will make yourself what you are.
And what makes for a good student?
Continuous quest, my dear. Continuous quest and continuous, humility to learn. In my class, I say all my senior students are teachers. I am a teacher. They all know everything. There is no quest. Quest makes you what you are. Everybody wants to earn money very fast. So yoga is one of the commodities to work fast and fastest. Then the spiritual science goes into dustbin. But if you are interested to learn the spiritual science, you have to really learn something which is beautiful, and very different. Not that fastest speed money. So all my teachers who learned from me, the first thing is I leave you, I go and open my center and I start earning. Whoa. This quest and humility that, my parents' center and the parent family, the Guru's family are the best. No one can come close to them. I think that one student, a shishya, should have that he is the master and you should follow the master. Now that concept is gone.
Yeah, it's never been present anyway in Europe and in the West.
So nowadays I have to ask my students in the class who all are interested to be corrected. Because the moment I start corrected, they think that I am too much and they should not be corrected in public, and which irritates me to the T. This used to be an American system. I am following the American system in India. I say, okay, tell me who all are interested to be corrected. Otherwise, I will not touch. But as a teacher, this is unethical. If you're doing something wrong, I have to go and correct you. And you should be absolutely open to say, okay, thank you very much. But the West has played such a big role that here, how did you correct me? In public, you can't do that. So how do I do that? In my drawing room? I'm not being taught like this. In 250 people's class, Guruji will say, come Nivedita, your legs are so ugly. Okay. And then he will start talking about the ugly word in terms of yoga. I would have walked out. Nah? And 250 people, you're saying your legs are very ugly. It's okay. That ugly legs were made so beautiful by him. So nobody is ready to hear these things and understand the other perspective of a teacher. I can assure you, if Guruji was in this time period, people would have left him like this, because that kind of strong, honest opinion is not acceptable in this world. That's why people like us cannot be popular teachers, can be classical teachers, but not popular. And I don't want to be. All my staff says become popular. I say, no, I can't. I cannot please my students. I have to displease them so that their future is very good. If I please them right now, their future will be bleak. As a teacher, I have to be ethical. I cannot be Guruji, but I have to be ethical somewhere. I cannot say, oh, come, darling. You're doing very bad, but next class. Come, you are doing not correctly, but okay, let's do this. But people are not ready to hear that. They are only ready to hear that you are very good, and you are doing the best. How do you do that?
Yeah, it's impossible.
Impossible. With the Iyengar system, and what I've learned is not possible. You have to be upfront and righteous to say, no, this is not correct, this is the right way, do this way. And if you're a student, you should be humble enough to say, okay, sir, thank you, I will correct it. I don't know, things have changed. It's very different time period now in the entire world. You sue your teachers, you criticize your teachers, you blackmail them on, on Insta and this and that. I don't like those things. Guruji taught me that whatever you will charge, you will give them more. I said, sir, how do you do that? He said, if the class is an hour and a half, you're charging for an hour and a half, you will teach 2 hours. So this is what I do till date. One of my introductory students has written me a mail saying once, you should be behind the bars because you waste our time after 1 hour. The extra what I was teaching, which is a unsaid, unwritten deal between me and my guru, that you will not see the time, you will teach. He says this is a crime because you are wasting our time. We have to go somewhere. So you should be behind the bars. These are the mails I get. And I tell them, please, which police station you want me to come, I will come. So things have changed. And one should not feel bad about it, because this is what the time period is. The most difficult thing becomes for people like us is to keep your principles intact.
You said that Guruji used to say that patients make the best teachers because they have compassion and sincerity to learn. Why do you think Guruji has said so, and how has your experience of healing affect your teaching? And what would be your guidance to junior teachers who are helping and guiding their students in medical classes?
Well, as I said to you, the teachers are good teachers when you have experience. Because yoga is an experiential science. Here you have to experience. The person who has gone through a lot of pain and then studied and then holding the hand of the teacher has come out of their problems or issues will always have a much better first-hand information than as compared to any normal teacher. But any normal teacher can also be that compassionate and that interested with a lot of quest to, immerse herself or himself into the subject in the same way. There's no hard and fast rule, but my experience says that if you have gone through it, you have a different take on that particular issue. When I'm teaching patients here, it's quite different because twice in a week used to be Guruji's class. If I give this kind of class nowadays, nobody is interested. So I give them a condensed work, shows them in 10 days time. Huge difference. Because people have no time now. I have time. It took me 8 years to get out of the pain. Who has time for 8 years? So this is a difference. The message for the younger teacher is only one. Be a student first. Guruji used to say that if you are a student always, then you will always be a good teacher. Here I get the teachers who are born teachers, not students. So where is the scope to give them more? Because you know everything. Yes, I know. Okay. So I have to raise my voice and say that, okay, first you speak, then when I will speak, nobody will open the mouth. Because if you are not ready to hear what your teacher is saying, what are you going to learn? I do with my 4.5-year-old child also. He has a lot of quests. So I have to say, Ayan, sometime when you have to learn, you have to be shut up. Because if you will not hear, then I can't teach you. So then he gets a little jittery. I don't know whether he understands my dialogue, but somewhere he understands that I have to now shut up to hear because he's continuously asking questions. Huh? So nowadays this is what it is. They will ask question after question, but they will not study. Answer, instant. So I tell them, you are wasting my time. It's the waste of time of the parliament. You are wasting the money. I will go on answering you, but the class will not move. To move the class, you have to follow. That's what Guru Shishya Parampara comes, that whatever the Guru is saying, you first do, then practice, then come to the level to question. But come on. You are doing in the middle of the class, you are questioning. You have not even experienced Trikonasana on even once. There are 200 questions. So there is a quest without foundation. Mm-hmm. There is a quest to show off. There is a quest to disturb the entire system. Not a quest which is genuine quest to hear, to think. Mm-hmm. And in Guru Gita, there is a beautiful scripture which says that when you are ready, only the Guru comes. And when you are ready, only then the Guru blesses you. I had noticed in Pune, every time I will go with so many questions in my head that I'm now teaching, this I don't understand. How do I ask? Because Guruji will not answer these questions. He will say, practice and then come back. And in the class, Gita is conducting the class and she's answering the same questions. And I will remember Guru Gita, that you are ready now to learn. Mm-hmm. So you are quiet within, and what she's saying you can correlate and get your answers.
And appreciate this.
This. So it is the time when you are ready, things will happen. People are not ready to wait. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So the new teacher should have a lot of patience to study and be open to be student always rather than teacher. If you ask me to go back to Pune and learn from there, I'll say I'll go back to the beginners class again. For so many years I have not been to there. After COVID I couldn't go, as I told you. There were so many life threats in our family that one is sinking, then I'm pulling it back, then other is sinking, I'm pulling it back, and then finally I sank. So it was too much. But if you give me the chance, I'll go to introductory first, then intermediate next month. Then you may be knowing a lot of things, but your body, and I will not feel bad about it. Mm-hmm. What to do? I mean, this is lost. This is lost completely.
Is there a way to bring it back?
It will come back on its own. It's a circular movement. Right now it is like this.
We're just living in this period of time, and the only way
because
to deal
this
with
is
it to accept
time immemorial. This subject has no time limit. So it will come back to its own. So always be hopeful. It's a spiritual science. The spirit will always be alive and it will come back. It's a matter of time.
Okay, good. As you know, the project is called the Force Niyama, so to refer to Patanjali Yoga Sutras and highlight the importance of Svadhyaya. So what does Svadhyaya mean to you and how important it is in the practice?
You see, the Svadhyaya is the most important thing in the field of yoga and also in any scholar's life. If you do not self-study the subject. Now when we say self-study, there are two aspects. One is you are studying through yourself and for yourself. The other is that you are practicing and reaching towards the self and trying to know about it. Both are very important, and this can only happen when you keep practicing and educating yourself. There is a time period when you need a guru to hold your hand to move further, and then afterwards you are in that platform where you can really work hard, fail, and again re-study and study. So it's like research and re-research about your own practices and about your own studies. It's the most important foundation. Without this, the subject of yoga, which otherwise if you study like that, the Patanjali Yoga Sutra are very difficult. But if you study with the Swadhyaya, with the perspective of what is going in your system and how it is manifesting, it becomes very interesting. It's become very user-friendly, and that's what Guruji did. If he would have not done his Swadhyaya, he would have not brought the Patanjali Yoga Sutra in such a beautiful way for us to understand and practice in day-to-day life. Whether it is practice, Satudirkal, Narantari, Satkara, Sevito, Drid Bhumi, to explain to the students that what is practice all about. So, whatever Patanjali said, Guruji not only brought it to his own practices, but showed us the path that if you will inculcate this habit to practice in your own practices, only then you will come somewhere close to the subject to understand the real essence of the subject. So, Swadhyaya or the self-study is the most important for any ancient subject. Modern subjects, you may have a lot of other informations coming from other side, but ancient wisdom has to go within yourself. I mean, yoga is what? To take you within yourself, to know yourself, to understand yourself better. And to do that without self-study, without practicing your own, it is impossible. That's why in Iyengar system, Guruji made it a point that every student, every teacher, every yoga practitioner has to practice every single day in a righteous way, not in any haphazard way. That's why so much of structuring has happened. So this makes the entire thing very special. And without this, there's no foundation. Then you can be a good preacher, but not a practitioner. For a practitioner, self-study is the must. Swadhyaya is must.
And how to understand whether you are not delusioned and still walking on the right path?
Only Guru can do that. Or your self-study has reached to that level where you can see on your own. So that's the reason all the Indian scriptures, old heritage are based on Guru Shishya Parampara. You need a person who is much more enlightened to hold your hand to say, okay, no, come on. You are now in the wrong side of the practice, come on this side and do that. So all our scriptures have this. Every great mythological character has a great guru. Whether it was Ram, it was Krishna, or it was any other mythological character, has always a great guru who guided the person to go to the righteous path. Bhagavad Gita, entire Bhagavad Gita is based on that. So that is important. Unless you don't have any great enlightened person in your life in the form of guru, you can still achieve, but then you should have a lot of blessing for the last karma to be on that level like Vivekananda. But we are not Vivekananda. So we will definitely need a person like Guruji and many other persons like Guruji in the different, layers of the life, and then proceed.
Thank you. Thank you
Good
so
time
much.
we are ending. My kids have attacked.
Thank you for listening to this episode. I was truly inspired and deeply touched by Nivedita's story and her devotion to studying and teaching the timeless principles of yoga. Her story of recovery from deep affliction and embracing health is a testament to Guruji's compassion and his scientific approach to mind-body connection. May this interview be of inspiration and support in your own journey. See you in the next episode.